известно, чем ближе мы смотрим, тем меньше мы видим. Поэтому порой имеет смысл взглянуть на уже привычные вещи под новым ракурсом. Мы спросим студентов-иностранцев, которые проходят магистратуру в МГИМО, о том, какой они видят Россию сегодня.
You always let her down, and all the boys in the hometown, all they wanted was a one-night story. Hear me, I'm past the point of saying please. You got me begging on my knees. I've really had enough of you and Julie. I know it's unfair, but I don't really care, because you and Julie, you set me right in the middle seat. And I could try, but I'd never find the right thing to help you out of this chain of melody.
I picked Russia because I am interested in its culture and its economic potential, and I hope I will find a job after in Russia. So I think to study in Russia is logical if you want to work there after.
I chose Russia because at 22 years old I've been in the United States twice, but I wanted to discover the other side of the world.
To study Russian, to learn Russian, to know more about Russian people, the Russian culture, the Russian way of thinking.
Okay, since childhood, I played judo, and your President Putin also plays judo. That's why I studied interested in Russia.
Actually, I didn't plan to come here. I just found out that there was this double degree program.
I picked Russia for study in order to have something different in my CV. Also because it's a growing economy, and coming from Italy, it's really important to have an experience abroad.
So I studied in New York in the NYU Center for Global Affairs, and as the political climate in Russia with regards to the US is quite dynamic, I thought it was a good time to maybe study abroad, get a different perspective before embarking on a career in diplomacy.
Well, I didn't really pick Russia for study. I think it's rather the opposite, so that meaning that Russia picked me for studying.
The first thing that I noticed was the bad air. It's not really nice, especially when you open the window and you have very fine dust close to your window.
What's the first disadvantage? The weather. The weather is of course the first disadvantage. No, at first when I arrived, the first problem was the baggage, because I arrived 1 week earlier than my baggage.
At the beginning, the price of pasta was too high, and I am Italian, I love pasta.
That I wasn't able to read, to speak. So, at least now I can read. So, of course the first problem was how to interact with people and how to interact with the society.
The first disadvantage, I think, speaking about Moscow, is that it's a very big city, so you can lose a lot of time in transport, and maybe if you compare it to France, it's too big, the country and the city.
The first disadvantage, coming from a country like Thailand, I would probably say people do not smile a lot around here compared to what we have there at home.
Roads are not really organized for me.
Disadvantage, maybe banal enough, the weather, the climate.
The language, and actually reading Russian and getting around without being able to read Russian. But that's also, of course, an encouragement to learn the language as quick as possible.
I would say to some extent Russian people are more free to do whatever they want to do because no one really cares. So if I'm loud on a Sunday evening, or I play loud music, or I do crazy stuff, no one would really mind. Whereas in Germany, someone would call immediately the police.
It's no.
I cannot say beautiful women because in Italy we have the most beautiful women in the world.
Wi-Fi in the metro?
To be completely honest, I think the first nice thing that I noticed is when I cross the roads here in Russia, that the drivers actually stop for you to cross.
Well, since I'm studying political sciences, I would answer saying that what you have here is a man called Putin, who is very charismatic, very assertive. And in Italy, at the moment, I wish we had this kind of statesman who could bring our country forward in a very coherent and assertive way in the international arena.
I would say that the main thing that there is in Russia, one of the first things that come to my mind is probably space. You have a lot of space in Russia, a lot of land and a lot of space. And we don't have that in Switzerland, and we have that a little bit in Spain, but not that much.
If I have to say something that I particularly appreciate about Russia, about Russian people, it's what I can define as their toughness, maybe, which translates into their idiomatic phrase "Все будет хорошо."
Vodka, caviar, a strong weather in winter, gypsy taxis, and that's it.
Yes, I would be very happy to live in Russia for a couple of years and then go.
If there would be a good possibility of work, why not?
Yes, I would love to live here or in another CIS country.
The answer is no.
Why?
I mean, I wouldn't mind staying here to study for a couple of years, but regarding the weather, it's too cold here for me, and I wouldn't settle down here. I wouldn't mind spending less time, but not for a long period of time.
Yes, I'd love to.
Yes, why not?
It depends.
Yeah, why not?
For the rest of my life, it's difficult. It depends by what kind of job I'm going to do here and what kind of job I can do in another country. And we are not the generation that can choose what to do. What the future will offer to us, we are supposed to take.